A lot of you flew in today for this conference. You're going to stay the day, and then you're going to fly home at the end of the day. Maybe on the way to the airport, you're going to pick up a sandwich and you're going to spend $15. Now that $15 goes back into our local economy, but that's a very small win. Now imagine if when you booked your trip here to St. Pete, you had at the tip of your fingertips all of the 300 amazing events that are happening right here in St. Pete this weekend. The Tampa Bay Rowdies, our minor league soccer team, has a game tomorrow night. And imagine if you had known that. Is there a chance that you would have brought your family? You would have brought your kids to this game, and rather than just coming for a single day and leaving for the conference, you instead spend a whole weekend here in St. Petersburg. Now, rather than just contributing $15 to the local economy, you're contributing a couple $1,000s. You're buying hotel rooms, spending money at restaurants, and then also the tickets to the sporting event. But the truth is, you didn't, because you didn't know about all of these amazing events that are happening right here. And the problem is, this data is fragmented across hundreds of different sources just right here in St. Pete. Events are hosted on Ticketmaster, Facebook events, Eventbrite. The Tampa Bay Rowdies have their own website where they post their schedule, just to name a few. And because this data is so fragmented, it's really tough for you to plan. You'd have to spend hours going through Google, finding the events that you want to attend. Or if you ask ChatGPT, it's going to just give you 3 events and say, hey, here's what's happening, because it needs to respond in 2 seconds and it doesn't have the time to look through hundreds of sources. So the organizations that are really leaving money on the table here are called Destination Management Organizations, or DMO for short. Their job is to market the city and drive economic impact. Now these organizations are leaving billions of dollars on the table because they are not surfacing the right events for you at the right time. So what we do is we provide a nice structured data set. We go out to all of those different sources, pull together a master data set that can be used at the point of travel. We provide that data set to the DMOs directly to publish on their website and on their apps. And we also structure that in a way that it can be read by AI agents and LLMs. Now let me talk for a second about DMOs, because a lot of people don't know these organizations, but they're very important for the economy. The total spend across the 500 leading DMOs is $20 billion per year. This is money spent on billboards, TV ads, radio ads, just getting people to hear about a city. Our bet is that we can capture just 0.5% of their marketing spend and use that to drive people to their destination from our events data sets. Just 0.5% is $110 million. This is our serviceable, obtainable market. So this is a business that needs to be built right now. As we've heard all day, agents are the future. They're doing everything for us, including planning travel. The future of travel looks like pulling out your smartphone, saying, hey, I'm headed to St. Pete this weekend, what should I do while I'm there? These agents need to have a structured data set to be able to return the right travel plans for you and help you get to your destination and enjoy your time there. So the way it works, we deploy thousands of these little agents. We attach them to websites like the Tampa Bay Rowdies website. Anytime there's a new event that's posted or an event that's modified, our agent grabs that information and puts it back in our master data set. Our master data set then runs enrichment processing and deduplication. And the way that we make money, so we sell this data to the DMOs directly on an annual subscription basis. Our median price is $20,000. And on the demand side, we're going to help these destinations get more traction from people that are planning to travel through AI agents. These contracts can be upwards of 50 to hundreds of thousands of dollars on the demand side. So our go-to-market, as Ed mentioned, it started a lot with founder-led sales, going to conferences, shaking hands, getting warm introductions, and that's been a great start. But I'm proud to announce that last month we partnered with the top agency in tourism marketing. They work with over 500 cities across the US. We are now their partner for all things events data. This represents a $20 million opportunity for our business. So competition, there are a couple others that are doing this. They are all managing the supply side. They're supplying events to the DMOs. We are the only ones that are structuring for the new age of travel where AI agents are planning travel and satisfying the demand side with LLMs. We've got a great team across tourism, AI, and software. I previously led a team of 19 software developers at a top pharma tech company. My co-founder, Mohammed, he's one of the smartest guys I ever met. When I started this company, he was the first guy I called. He's a 3-times founder with over 15 million app downloads. And my sister, Megan, who was really our first user, she built a community on top of our data set that reaches 1.5 million people per month. And lastly, our advisor, Zeke Coleman, who's kind of the king of tourism. He's a thought leader, keynote speaker, and Tourism 30 Under 30. And what we're doing is working. We've got active paying customers, which I'm very excited about. We are doing $235,000. Thank you. Feels good after a year of not getting paid to start that. And our customers are very happy. We've had 0 churn so far, 140 pipeline deals representing $2.1 million. So I'm here because I believe that the future of travel is agentic. You're going to pull out your phone and you're going to have an AI agent that plans your travel, where you're going, and what you're doing. Now, I'm not trying to reinvent the entire wheel. but what I am doing is building the infrastructure for local events. So if you're interested in the future of travel, would love to have a conversation. Come chat with me. Thanks.
That has touched almost all of us here. Once cancer enters someone's life, changes them forever. Families have to go through difficult decisions based on conflicting opinions about the treatments that they have to decide on, financial toxicity, and emotional turmoil. That's what we are looking to solve with LiveAI. At LiveAI, we believe cancer is a data problem. Unfortunately, despite of all the advances in modern treatments, cancer treatments still rely on fragmented data and subjective treatment decisions, and tools that are not made for precision medicine. That leads to over $60 billion in avoidable healthcare costs for 45 million cancer patients. Imagine 45 million cancer patients annually that do not get the right treatment at the right time, leading to worse outcomes and failed clinical trials. This is where LiveAI comes in. We're building a multimodal AI intelligence layer that combines information across different lens scales, starting with imaging sitting in the middle, right? Because imaging is acquired at different stages in a cancer patient's journey, especially CT and MRI scans. And on top of it, you can combine that routinely acquired imaging information with layers of tumor biology through multiple other sources of information. And ultimately, when you integrate that using patented algorithms that we've developed, it gives you an integrated biomarker that has been shown to be associated with outcomes, responses to treatments, and following patients up over their entire trajectory in their treatment journey. And guess what? Where we are is we've taken these 50-50 coin toss decisions to over 90% accuracy in correctly identifying treatments. That's over 40% boost in predictive accuracy in identifying the right treatments for the cancer patients. And the best part is LiveAI fits seamlessly into the clinical workflow. Because we use clinically acquired MRI and CT scans, the way it works is a clinician would request an MRI and CT scan. Along with that, they would request the LiveAI test. So all of that data gets fed into the cloud, we run the analysis, and the analysis gets sent back to the oncologist for them to have all the information, quantitative rich information, to make the best decisions for the patients. Ultimately, oncologist is still sitting in the front seat making these decisions for the patients, but now with this information that guides them and helps them make better decisions for the patient. We're starting with some of the toughest cancers to treat where treatment options are quite limited, like brain tumors, pancreatic cancers, and colorectal cancers. And our big vision is to expand to all solid tumors. This is a big market of over $20 billion, and LiveAI fits seamlessly into the entire healthcare ecosystem, starting with insurance, pharma companies, but most importantly, cancer patients and their families. We have a multi-pronged approach to our go-to-market, which is essentially fitting complementarily into two verticals, the healthcare vertical and the pharma vertical. In the clinical vertical, we have a fixed rate per scan, so of around $1,000 per scan based on predicate technology. And we have ongoing existing pharma relationship and our strategic collaborations for a platform fee for our integrated diagnostics platform. And we've made quite a bit of progress in the last 2 years since we incorporated and started the company. We have 4 big pharma projects that are helping us generate revenue. We have NDAs with 4 healthcare systems, including the second largest healthcare system in the US. And we've already started our FDA process. In terms of revenue, we are currently generating $520,000 in revenue and a very healthy active pipeline of $6 million of revenue in the next year. And a big moat for us is the fact that this is based on over 20 years of research. So I'm an academic. I've been working in this area of oncology for the last 20 years. So a lot of work has been richly validated on curated data sets that we've generated. That's roughly 250,000 scans with multiple patterns and a data ecosystem validated on multiple tumors. We've also raised pre-seed money from our strategic investors across pharma and radiology venture. And we are part of 2 largest cancer innovation programs, one in the US and one in the UK. In the US is actually right across the street at Moffitt Cancer Center. We're part of CancerX. We're very excited with the ecosystem that we've built in the last 2 years. We're also very fortunate to have a team of experts behind all the work that we do at LiveAI. These are all industry veterans, engineers. I'm a biomedical engineer and an academic by training, and we are all extremely motivated and have been touched by cancer in some capacity, so extremely inspired by the vision of LiveAI. And same is true for our advisory team. We have an excellent advisory team of key opinion leaders, both across clinical and business advisory, that are cheerleaders, champions, and supporters of the work that we get to do at LiveAI.
Farmers think of 2 things a lot is the weather. That's kind of obvious why they do. Second is taxes. And it blew me away how much farmers think of taxes. I'm Bill O'Neill and I'm the co-founder of AgWise. And I can tell you that AgWise cannot fix the weather issues that farmers have, but we can make a huge impact on the taxes that they pay every year.
And I'm going to say we could do some stuff with weather with AI, but we can't improve the economics like we can on taxes. So my name is Sarah Martello. I grew up on a farm outside of southeast Kansas, and I spent all my summers at my grandparents' farm, southwest Missouri, 10,000 acres. The only industry my family has ever known was farming, and the only thing I wanted to figure out was how the heck I could get out of farming, because this is a dying industry. And so I was the first person in my family to graduate college, went on to law school, and then started a tax law firm in the Great Recession, helping businesses navigate IRS uncertainty. So now I'm bringing back that experience to help farmers navigate these tax issues, but also make a lot of freaking money off of it. So here's the actual problem. So farmers are facing the worst economic crisis since the 1980s. The bankruptcies are up 20 to 30% year after year. The debt is at a record high of all times, 560 billion. And the income, it is at down 36%. So how do farmers make money and not change hands? Well, we're trying to change that. So part of the issue right now is farmers trust their advisors. Farm tech doesn't speak tax or agronomy as a whole, and they don't trust it. Their tax advisors don't want to do anything on tax or tech, and then the agronomists trying to get them to onboard onto a tech platform. It's not going to happen. We got here accidentally. We did in 2022. We did a blockchain pilot with the largest organic cattle ranch in the country. We literally tracked it from seed to retail. We got them distributed into major retail strings, but the big issue was the industry is not there. So we kind of took a step back. In 2025, we started implementing AI for better decisions, and then went into other tax products around 45Z, and then we started getting into 180 residual nutrient tax deductions and R&D tax credits around row crops and livestock. So why is this exciting? The economics are changing substantially, in my opinion, because we're charging, maybe a couple dollars per acre. We're charging a lot of money per acre, and we're seeing the dividends pay out substantially. The last customer that we did, saving $2,700 per acre. $2,700. That's a game changer for them to go forward and keep their family farm. So that's what gets me excited about all this.
The opportunity is real, and it's here right now. Experts say that 44 million farmland acres will trade hands during the course of the next 3 years. For those of us who are challenged to understand what that looks like, think Kansas. The entire state of Kansas will be sold by the end of 2028. AgWise, we charge $50 an acre for one of our services. Anybody out there doing the cowboy math? That's a $2.2 billion market opportunity. And as Sarah said, we think that the R&D tax credits for ag will be bigger and even more lucrative. The idea that 1% of this market, just 1% of it, will generate for AgWise over the next 3 years, $20 million in earnings and company valuation in excess of $100 million. It's a real opportunity, but I can tell you there isn't anybody on the AgWise team that will take 1% or that will settle for that.
Finding my way back to farming was a literal accident in everything, but we built amazing technology to help farmers initially. But we are changing the game so farmers can actually participate in this great acceleration that we've been talking about all day.
Hello everyone, we are Snowball Systems, and we built the operating system for civil, environmental, and infrastructure engineering.
So I've known Nate for a very long time. We grew up together, went to a lot of the same schools, same internships. We even did a month abroad in doing water resources in the University of Galway, Ireland. So, and that all culminated in us getting a master's degree in civil and environmental engineering. And so after 10 years in the industry, when Nate came up to me and he said, I want you to help me build the tools, the engineering tools that we wish we had in the industry, I jumped at the opportunity.
So 15 years ago, Glenn and I were sitting in a classroom at UC Davis, freshman year, and one of the most impactful professors we had, Jeannie Darby, she looked at us and said, out there, students over in the medical school wing and life sciences, they're gonna save lives. They're gonna save lives every day as doctors, as physicians. But she proceeded to walk us through case study after case study of public health outbreaks, like eventually instilling with us that civil engineers and the practice of public health through critical water and wastewater infrastructure will end up saving millions of lives over the course of their career. This work's important to us. We both went into the field, make a difference, and that's why we're here today.
So in my time in consulting, I built a lot of small tools on top of the original tools that we had, things like scripts and macros, and some of those tools are still being used today at the firm that I left 5 years ago. And the reason those tools are still being used is that they're very slow to adopt. And one of the things that really frustrated me as a young engineer was that the system that's in place for incentivizing work is based on project hours and based on billable hours. And I found that the ability for the engineer to go and build something to improve their own system was not encouraged.
We probably all know somebody like Glenn, someone whose ability to output is only limited by the tools and runway they're given. And our estimate is that the cost to firms of not empowering builders like Glenn with this great acceleration is over $75 billion. Manual workflows, disconnected systems, very disconnected systems that these engineers are using to manage critical infrastructure that protects our public health. So how do you solve a $75 billion problem? One tool at a time.
So the first tool we looked at was asset management. It seemed like an obvious entry point. It's a very major pain point for a lot of engineers and operators, and one that we had experience in our field. And so we built Clarion, which is an asset management tool that connected engineers and operators in the field. But what we found while we were building it was that we needed to build a structured data layer under it that was almost as big as the program itself. And we came to an interesting conclusion that it wasn't just Clarion the tool, it was building the foundation of a system that engineers could build on top of to make tools like Clarion.
So how does it work? There's no way I'm going to explain this diagram in 30 seconds. So let's talk about the human body and what Ed mentioned, not competing with the frontier models. The frontier models, they're getting better month after month. These releases are not something if you're training a machine learning model to try to keep up with, there's no chance. So we positioned the frontier models as the brain. And something like Clarion, an asset management tool, it's like an arm or a limb, because there's no way a brain can look into a water system and interpret a drop in pressure as a potential main burst that could be under a road that's about to cause a huge sinkhole. There's no way, unless there's a system of tooling that can interpret the telemetry for meaning. And we heard a lot of presentations today with really cool closed loop and questions about live AI. How do you know if it was cancer or not? Well, you have to have a closed loop, and that's why asset management is so important. Because after the operator goes out and investigates that point lake, the system has to learn. So every time an engineer or an operator in the field acts on the work order that was spun up or suggested by this agent, the system gets stronger and learns more. And so Clarion is just one module built on top of Snowball OS. We're developing a septic consulting module right now to support site visits. And our vision is that engineers in the future will open an enterprise platform connected with a bunch of MCP or other tools that allow them to build and execute their work. So we're early stage. We started about a year ago, and we've been building. And we're happy to say we're in production with 2 utilities right now. One through an engineering firm who serves 30 or 40 smaller systems up in North Carolina. What they're excited about is that their engineers can take these asset management plans that were grant funded, written as technical assistants, and they can put them into field-ready software in hours instead of months. That process was typically just financially inaccessible to these smaller systems. The other sale is direct to utility, and what they're excited about using Clarion for is managing their non-revenue water, which is basically their pipe bursts, their leaks, and giving a closed-loop system for their analytics to flow back to their operations. Our subject partner module is in development right now, and we're meeting with engineering firms to understand more verticals and booking calls as fast as people will take them. We are Snowball Systems, built by engineers for engineers. We believe in the power of every person to act, reflect, and learn in a way that software may help support, but we believe at the end of the day, it's the engineers, the operators, and the people in this room that will make the impact that the future is built on.
My name is David Crabb. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Rovex. I'm also an emergency medicine physician, and I'd like you to think back to the last time that you may have been in a hospital with a loved one or yourself. You know, you're there, and it may have been an amazing hospital with incredible nurses, brilliant physicians, next generation technology, but unfortunately, you probably still wait. We've come to expect waiting as a normal part of healthcare delivery, and it's really an opportunity area for us to improve in. What we see here is that movement is a core part of healthcare delivery. It's not just a side issue. We need to think about how healthcare is delivered through movement. Hospital systems are logistical organisms, right? You have the movement of patients through beds and operating rooms, through discharge. A large hospital might see 20,000 patient transports per month. When movement slows down, the entire healthcare system slows. So a hospital system cannot move faster than its patients move. So at Rovex, we believe that hospitals aren't always out of capacity. Their capacity is trapped in strained systems. We saw that there's already existing beds and clinicians and rooms, but the movement between them is still largely missing. We decided to build that missing layer, and not just an AI agent or another dashboard, but physical automation. So this is Rovi. Rovi is an autonomous mobile robot designed to safely, predictably, and comfortably transport patients inside the hospital. Rovi is separate from a stretcher. It backs up, grabs a stretcher by the front two wheels, and tows it along at 1.5 miles per hour. For the patient, the most important person in the hospital, it has a screen that keeps them informed as to where they're headed and how long it takes to get there. They have a patient remote, so they always have a sense of control during transport. Hospitals are dynamic, so Rovi can't add anything to their current workflow. So we train Rovi in NVIDIA's Omniverse, in hospital digital twins, in real workflows, so that when Rovi arrives, it's prepared to operate from day one. The response from health systems has been strong. We're currently engaged with 19 health systems, including our first hospital strategic partner, Baycare, and we're so excited to work with a system that really cares about improving patient care as well as reducing the physical labor that their staff feel. So it's a tough challenge. We have a strong team. Ben Locke is our CTO and co-founder. He's a world's expert in human-centered computing, product design, and user experience. Ho-Jin, we were able to recruit down from the University of Michigan to warm Florida. He has he has 2 FDA-approved robotic devices and plenty of patents to go along with it. And then Nicole is our Dynamo Director of Partnerships. She's an industrial engineer by trade with a background at Tesla, Disney, and Mount Sinai, helping improve throughput. We look at this as not just an opportunity to move patients. The data that you glean from moving patients actually helps inform where is equipment left, where are the bottlenecks occurring, and how do we design hospitals in the future. So today we're moving stretchers, tomorrow wheelchairs and beds, and eventually the intelligence layer beneath movement. So I'd like to close with where we started, thinking back to what you can expect from an amazing hospital, right? You can expect great nurses, brilliant physicians, next generation technology, but I would like us to begin to expect increasingly better patient flow and movement through the hospital. At Rovex, we believe that healthcare in the future, it will not just be smart, also move better.